Welcome back, Smadester here. So, Wimpy Kid Rodrick Rules remake for Disney Plus just dropped the trailer for the movie. And this video is going to be my thoughts on it and a breakdown of the trailer for things that I've noticed. But before we begin, if you want to see more videos like this related to Wimpy Kid, consider subscribing. But with that said, let's now begin. So first thing we need to talk about is the animation. And from this trailer alone, it doesn't look too bad, but the thing is, it doesn't look too lively, especially when it comes to like the outside scenery, so where you could clearly see how far the map just goes and where it ends. So a trick that they did by having the trees behind the hills does solve this issue quite a bit, but it still suffers from the same issue that the first remake has gone to. Like for example, we do get a scene from Rodrick's room in the basement, which just looks too bland and less interesting than how it was depicted in like the live action movie and in the books usually. But I think this movie already looks promising if you've seen the live action movie and the book version, because it's gonna take place in other areas like the mall from Rowley's party, the Leisure Towers, the school, the Happy household, which obviously a huge portion of the movie is going to be set in because this is a very Roderick-centric story. As for story, it's most likely going to take some story elements from the Rodrick Rules book and live action movie. In the live action movie where Greg and Rodrick actually do grow up bond together as brothers and teaching Greg how to be like him. As for things that I did notice in the trailer, there's definitely going to be some obvious changes, like Rowley inviting himself into the party instead of actually rescuing Greg from being stuck in the basement like in the live action movie. Which implies that Roderick's personality in this movie is going to be toned down. Also, we didn't see Holly anywhere in this trailer. In the book, she didn't really play much of a role, unlike her live action counterpart, where we have a subplot of Greg actively trying to impress Holly, and I think they definitely should keep it in for this movie. And it looks like they're probably doing that to some extent in a more minor way, where we see Roderick snatching Greg's phone in Leisure's Towers, which could be Greg's journal, which he's now putting his entries on a phone rather than an actual notebook. Which in both previous versions, Greg decided to rip off the pages while accidentally going into the women's restroom of Leisure's Towers. Or this could be that screenplay from the book for a skit that Greg is planning to do to get to Holly, where they would play a married couple and where Rowley, the role of a dog human that is treated very poorly. So either of those is what could be is on the phone, but I personally think it's the skit, if they did actually change this from being Greg's diary. And speaking of the characters that may not appear in this movie, is Warren, who in the books is the bodyguard for Lloyd Diaper and is Roderick's best friend, since we didn't see him in any of the scenes when the band is performing, so most likely he is not in this movie, so that sucks. And as for other scenes and character that I see potentially getting cut is Chirag, who in both versions, Greg and his classmates played a prank on Chirag pretending that he was invisible, which Greg took a bit too far, which ended up with him getting in trouble with the school's principal and Chirag's dad. Which Disney or Jeff could see this prank of Greg's to be too cruel to be even in the movie. But it's most likely gonna take away some comedy to the movie if they did decide to remove it. But seeing as though we never really see Chirag appear in the first remake movie, most likely him or this scene pretty much being included is less likely to be in the sequel. But as for other parts of the book that I wanted to see adapted, is when Greg and Rowley are playing Dungeons and Dragons or Magic and Monsters, as it's called in the books, with Wen. Then there's a subplot for Roderick doing his science project while trying to practice for the talent show. The only thing I didn't like is that scene with Susan, Frank, and Manny leaping over a dip in between a hill or river with their car, which mind you they also did for the first remake movie, so I guess this is some sort of running gag now. And the main reason why I'm bringing this up is because the diary's drawings by Greg were just meant to be that, drawings. It doesn't exactly mean that the actual world of the series outside of Greg's perspective in his diary has cartoon-like physics. It is as very normal but slightly exaggerated than ours. And one thing that the previous movie was missing was the lack of narration by Greg, which I wish they actually do utilize if they want to deliver an exposition or bring up flashbacks from the book.
After I turned in my comic, all I could do was wait. But after a whole week went by, Mr. Humphries made an announcement.
which is part of the core element of what makes Greg relatable and kind of likable for many people. I like the voices for both Greg and Rowley. I thought they were very okay, except for the voice for Roderick. The devious tone that they gave for Roderick's voice sounds like it's going to be his permanent resting voice. Unlike his live action version, it has this very lax and laid back kind of attitude and tone. And the only time they're gonna use this devious tone is when there's a scene where Roderick is trying to antagonize Greg. But the voice kind of grown on me after watching the trailer for a few times for this video. So I kind of like them. And also, Grandpa, Frank's dad, it looks like is going to have a lot more screen time in this movie, as we see him attending the talent show, which we didn't see him do in the original Rodrick Rules movie. Which the same thing goes for Grandma, who is Susan's mom, who essentially barely appears in that movie as well. Which was actually seems like a very strange addition to me if they're going out of their way to include Grandpa for the remake movie to appear more. So why not include Grandma? Since we don't have any prior relationship or interactions with these two characters in both books and movies, where we don't see them even present at the same place at the same time like Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, or birthdays, I think it would have been probably a good opportunity for both of them to have this interaction now for this remake movie. It looks like in this movie we actually see what became of the bedroom door, which in the book version has Hi Roderick written on it, which they replaced with Roderick's closet door, which in the live action movie has Rodrick Rules written on it, which they replaced with a door that Greg found in the basement and storing the bedroom door down there and never to be seen again.
No, I got it.
See, it's a good thing I locked you down here. Now, let's go.
We're not gonna make it.
We're gonna make it.
And this version, I kind of like that we actually see what became of the door. And this movie, we also had a drawing from Roderick in his own art style, which Jeff Kinney has also mentioned a while ago he's considering about making a Roderick spin-off book. As to whether this book is going to be a prequel showing how Wooded Diaper formed, or it's going to take place around the same time as the mainline books and the Rowley spin-off, we have yet to get any information on that as of making this video. And personally, I'm still excited for this movie and will still watch it just to see what they would do with it. With that said, that's all the news that I have for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and find it informative, please do leave a like. And if you want to see more videos like this on Diary of a Wimpy Kid, then consider subscribing. But with that said, this is Spadester signing out. See you all in the next video.